Now, I would be willing to bet that some of you guys think I abandoned the RX-7 just because I started working on the Subaru, and that is totally kind of true. You see, the RX-7 made me a little bit mad, so I put it in timeout because I really just didn't want to fix it or work on it or anything like that. You see, I had a handful of problems with the AFD after we got it sorted. Not even sorted, because it wasn't sorted, it was just kind of running. With the issues with the ignition harness, the engine harness that we had purchased, there were additional issues like the TPS, which just wouldn't work at all. We tried 4 different TPS sensors, throttle position sensors. We tried 4 different ones. None of the OEM ones would work. We had some overnighted from the guys at Turbo, and they were awesome for doing that, but it just didn't fix the problem. Eventually, I ended up ordering a JDL TPS, and it fixed the problem entirely. So I don't know what was going on with the Elite 2500 or the harness, but I just couldn't get these OEM sensors working. Ryan remoted in, got a killer base map on the car to where I can actually drive the car. And then I came back to the shop the next day and I couldn't drive the car because the car kept blowing fuel pump fuses. So yesterday, I was gonna film this, decided not to just because I wanted to get it done. If you've ever had to take a radium fuel hanger in and out of an FD, you know it sucks. So I took out the radium hanger, tore it all down, and it looks like that the main supply pump was grounding out on the ground stud right next to it for that pump, and it was shorting it out, popping the fuse every single time. So that's fixed now. I drove the car around the shop a little bit yesterday. Seems to be working. We still have a handful of things that we need to wrap up and finish on this car. The wing still is at carbon fiber. We had an issue with the last mold where we just weren't happy with the quality, so they're making a new mold off. We have to wire up a fuel level sensor because I actually ran out of gas in this yesterday. Had no idea what was going on. I couldn't build fuel pressure. Looked in the tank, no gas. We need to do our first oil change on this thing because after doing a little bit of street tuning, I want to get any of that old crap that's in there out of there. I still need to bleed the brakes. I need a second person to help me do that. I'm gonna see if I can find someone today. We'll see if I can. Outside of that, alignment, and this thing is street ready for some power tuning. So the first thing we're gonna jump to is the actual fuel level wiring. So what I ended up doing was I found the wiring that came from the fuel hanger assembly up into the stock gauge cluster. This is the sensor ground here, and then I've already got the white and green wire running into our connector here. I'm gonna have to depin that. I need to put a 220 ohm resistor between the sensor ground and the AVI for the fuel level sensor to get an accurate reading. We're gonna have to calibrate that, make sure it works. And once that's actually wired up, we can actually go ahead and install this permanently in here, get our steering wheel on permanently, and all of the shrouding that goes around it, and then that should be the last time that I have to take all of this apart. So let's actually start with that. Let's get this wired up, and then that should hopefully fix our running out of fuel issue and not knowing how much fuel we have in the car, because that's actually really important on a Rotary, because the fuel is what lubricates the engine with the premix that's in it. So if we run out of fuel while we're driving or doing a pull, that can be extremely detrimental to this engine. What is he doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? All I hear in there is "Wah! Wah!" You get a haircut? Yeah. Nice, looks good. In theory, we should now have a working fuel level sensor after calibration. So for now, I'll just kind of finagle this guy back over here. Oh, it says fuel level 100%. So, you know, it's reading something. I just don't think it's calibrated, but it does say fuel level 100%. The dash updated and literally everything changed. So it looks like I'm gonna have to rebuild the layout here. Okay, no. This is kind of dope. I think I figured it out. Man. Fahrenheit. What did I? AFR, air fuel ratio. Air fuel ratio. AFR. Now, fuel level is still of a concern to me because that is reading 100%. So let's get out of that. All right, let me let my computer recharge and double check these fuel level sensor connections. It is reading, but it's not reading right, if that makes sense. While we wait for my computer to charge, we're gonna go ahead and actually knock out the oil change, potentially bleed the brakes if I can get my buddy a couple shops down to come help me just pump the brakes as I bleed them. It should only need one more quick bleed and they should be good after that, but they need to be done again. Once the brakes are bled, then it's really just an alignment that's stopping us from driving this thing, which maybe I can get that sorted a little bit in this video. I'm not the best at alignments, especially on a car that I'm not super familiar with, but for now, let's change the oil. This will be the first oil change after doing a little bit of tuning, getting into boost, so it's gonna get anything that might be in the engine crap-wise out, and we can put some fresh 2050 in. Quick jacks, they come in clutch. Especially when there's Subaru stuck on the lift, they come in clutch. There's a spider right there, that's not okay. I just need to go up to the first launch setting. First oil change, and it looks beautiful. So, look at that, killing time. All right, oil's drained out, which means we can put new oil in. Mazda filter. Now we're gonna fill this thing up, which is always an interesting time. I have to take off this AN fitting down here and then feed a funnel into it. Seems a bit silly, but better than my old change. 5 quarts. Perfect. 1 5-quart thing of Valvoline fills it up. So we did another quick bleed on the brakes. We have our oil change done. Laptop should be charged enough. I can see that the rear left wheel is hella towed out. So you know what, we'll try to get this aligned as much as we can to at least get it to a drivable status. Tighten up all the suspension, and hopefully at that point we can get this thing up to daily status so I can actually start driving around when it is nice outside. The clutch, I have a whole bunch of dead play at the top end of the clutch, and I need to figure out how to fix that. I've already tried adjusting the clutch arm, so I'm not entirely sure what is going on there. So we'll figure that out, we'll play with that. But let me jump back into the computer and see if I can I need to get vehicle speed and fuel level sorted. I'd like to add in the parking brake light to the cluster as well. So let me just figure this out. Let me figure it out. Cannot get the fuel level sensor to read. I can see the fuel level sensors there, but I'm not getting any voltage change readback. So looks like we have a bad fuel level sensor. It doesn't surprise me. The car sat for 10 years, and honestly, it's sat for about 12 years now. Since from when I bought it to where it is now, it's sat for about 12 years. So it doesn't surprise me that that's not working. Whatever, not a huge deal. I found my steering wheel cover, but I'm missing the beauty ring that goes in the middle of it. So I'm gonna see if I can find a replacement for that somewhere. I'm sure somebody's got to have one. It's an OEM JDM Momo wheel. I love that wheel. I just need the beauty ring that goes in the middle of it. If not, I'm sure, honestly, we could probably just make one also. It's not a big deal, but gauge cluster, all that stuff is put back in. Next up, I want to just do a quick alignment. It's not even gonna be an alignment. It's just getting the wheel to point straight, because right now that's towed out. It can't be towed out. So let me at least double check the rear end and the front for a quick eyeball alignment. I want to go drive this. I want to see if I can get vehicle speed to work. I did play with the settings in the ECU for that, so fingers crossed. So alignment, potentially go drive it. If it drives well enough, we're gonna go get some fuel. And I kind of want to drive this thing home today, even though it's missing the wing blade. I just went and got another 12 gallons of fuel. Since I don't know fuel level right now, maybe it's because there's not enough fuel in there to read. This might trigger the sensor, but regardless, if I'm gonna drive this thing, it needs fuel. With a known 15 gallons of fuel in the car, fuel level doesn't read, so sounds like it is a fuel level sensor, which not the end of the, I can find one somewhere. I found a company that remakes them, but they're like 300 bucks, which sucks, but so you gotta pay to play. So I am gonna start this thing up, let it warm up for a minute. I wanna go drive it around the complex real quick just to see how well it drives. I would grab the head cam, but I'm saving that. The charging port broke on it and I got it to charge, so if it works, and I want to have full battery in that head cam to be able to drive this thing home to like really experience it. So I'll probably just set you guys up on the tripod outside real quick. So let's get this thing warmed up. Let's go do a quick little test drive around. I am gonna attempt to drive the FD home. This will be its first drive I've ever had with the car. I've owned the car for a year and a half. We've done full rebuild on it. It feels, driving it around here, it feels decent enough to be able to drive. So this will be the first drive of the FD. It's daylight savings time just ended, so it's pretty dark outside, but it's whatever. The wing isn't on the car, but the vehicle speed isn't working. Fuel level isn't working, but it's whatever. It's whatever. I want to drive it. My head cam is officially dead, which sucks. So won't charge at all. Charging port's broken. I'm gonna go to Best Buy tomorrow, grab another one, and we'll get some driving footage. But I guess for my first drive, I'm just gonna enjoy the car. I'm just gonna enjoy it. So good to be driving this thing finally after so long, and it sounds so good. The manual brakes do take a little getting used to, I will say that much, but they're not as bad as you might think. Go Camry. I'm so stoked, dude, and it's only on a bass tune. I've caught myself trying to get into it a little too much and I keep hitting boost cut. I gotta chill out on that, but It's such a rewarding feeling to have taken a car down that far like we did, and then be sitting here driving it. And it drives good. I've already gotten so many compliments from people also on this thing. Like I said, we have no windshield wipers, so that is the one downside. I'm so used to driving the truck where I'm so high up, I can't see shit. I need sunglasses in this car. This is my first time like driving a Rotary, and it loves RPM. It doesn't like being down low if it can avoid it. Really good turbo noise, really good. I cannot wait until it's fully tuned and I can actually drive this on like a nice day. I want to open up my sunroof. It has such good turbo noise! I just wish fuel level worked and vehicle speed. We're gonna have to sort those out. Vehicle speed would be nice, but I can kind of gauge how fast I'm going already. Fuel level, it's literally all guess and check right now, so whenever I drive it, I tend to just put more fuel in it. The amount of like compliments you get from people just for driving this is so wild. You don't see them, you never see them, so it's cool to see them like out and about. I wish you guys could see the smile on my face too right now. And I guess we got to brake in the clutch too, so. You want to shift, but the car doesn't want you to shift, if that makes sense. Like, it wants you in the RPM. Like, it wants to be high. Fuck, I wish I had windshield wipers. Pounds of boost in us. God, I want to get into it so bad. It still blows my mind. This car sat for 10 years before we got it. Sat for another year and a half while I rebuilt it. This car sat for 12 years before it actually got like driven. And it feels so good to shoot a video that's not just working in the shop all the time. We finally have one of our cars that's driving again. It's been since March. So this is a good feeling. Except when I get blasted in the face with the wind because I have my window down. That's beside the point. Remember when I said it, but I was like, I just want the RX-7 to work on a nice, crisp fall day. If it wasn't this windy, this is exactly what I'd be talking about. The leaves falling off, the roads are kind of dry, it's a nice cool temperature outside, and you're just happy. Like this is what it's about. You know, the dual oil coolers are doing work. I see that oil temperature drop so fast, so incredibly fast. Coolant temp right around 150 degrees. AFR is looking beautiful. It's driving so well. For the little bit of tuning that Ryan was able to get us in to make this a driving car, he already did a phenomenal job. And we haven't even touched the power side of stuff yet, aside from like maybe the 2 PSI boost that I get into. A little bit of baby boost. And the other thing, I built this laid back from carbon once they're done with it. A couple little interior panels here and there, and we're solid, baby. Clean it. This car does need a detail. It's pretty dusty in here from sitting for a little while, but that's all right. Boost cut. See, I'm trying to get into it too much. I'm trying to party. It feels so good to have a fun car to drive again also. Until that boost cut sneaks up on you. Fuck it. This is all I wanted. You can't tell me that's not a good feeling. Dude, look at that. It drove no issues at all. Drove just fine. Hello, gate. I got my keys in here somewhere. I got peas on my head, but don't call me a pea head. Bruce Lee's on my head, but don't call me a Lee head. This feels so good to be driving a fun car. Water just dripped from my ceiling. Bruce Lee's on my head, but don't call me a Lee head. We'll see if we can get a couple good pops before I shut it off. I love it, dude. I am so incredibly proud with how the RX-7 did for its very first drive. Not a single hiccup, not a single issue. It literally did perfect. It drives straight, it responds good, it drives well. For a car that we took every single nut and bolt and part off of, repainted and completely rebuilt, I'm proud of myself too, dude. It's incredible. The driving experience with the Rotary, like I said, that is my first time driving a Rotary engine, driving a Rotary engine. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're on a base tune. I can get up to like 5-6 PSI right now, and I can't really get on the car hard yet, but oh my God, dude, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on that thing. I am going to reach back out to Ryan, see when he has some time to do some street tuning. We're gonna be doing our street tuning on pump gas. We are gonna be running this car in E85. So I'm curious to see how much power the RX-7 will put out. Realistically, I'll probably keep this car around like 400 to 500 wheels, somewhere in that range right there. I feel like it's a really good sweet spot. From talking to a lot of other Rotary people, this engine setup should do around 700 if we want to go full tilt with it. I really don't see a need for the RX-7 to be around 700 wheel horsepower. Like that in a lightweight rear wheel drive car, I don't see a need for 700 wheels. But overall, dude, I'm hyped. First drive in 12 years for this car. It has been sitting in someone's garage from 2012 to 2023, which is when we picked it up in 2023 and then gave it a whole new life. So I'm over the moon with this. Super happy with how this has come out. It looks good, it drives good, it sounds good. Now, if you guys do want to help support the channel, we are doing a drop right now. I do like maybe one of these a year. We've got our RX-7 blowout tee. Love this. It's got the entire 13B blown apart in the background. We've got our Ouija board Rotary, where the rotor is kind of like the all-seeing eye and the Planchenko. If you're more into the Subaru stuff, we do have our 22B and we do have our OG Modify All Dailies in a t-shirt and a hoodie. We are also doing a giveaway on the merch stuff right now. I do maybe, like I said, one of these a year. For a built EJ25 short block for you RX-7 guys, if that's not up your alley, you can also opt out for a $2,500 gift card over to Rally Sport Direct. You can get yourself wheels, you can get yourself coilovers. I got my Greddy V-mount from the guys over at Rally Sport. So if it's not on their website, you can definitely hit them them up and they can source some parts for you as well. But with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'll keep you updated on more of the tuning to come with the FD and some more driving footage because I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this thing. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, sight, and whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.